I'm thinking it's probably going to be a while before I do another video, so I'm going to show what I've been doing with this oatmeal um, to make it more palatable, because oatmeal by itself is pretty bland. And again, I don't want to show any trademark names, but I think I can do this with this video. There is a guy on the YouTube. I believe his YouTube channel might be something. I'm not even going to guess at it, but I will try to post a link. I will try to post a link on this video to his video that explains that combining a source of fat with oatmeal is really helpful in helping you to get the most benefit from that oatmeal, most nutritional benefit. In other words, adding fat makes the nutrition more available. I'm going to guess that some of the nutrition in oatmeal is fat soluble. I think that might even be what he said. And so adding a source of fat helps helps your body take advantage of the fat soluble nutrition. In other words, sugar and salt are water soluble, and oils are generally oil soluble, and oils generally don't dissolve in water, and water generally doesn't dissolve in oil. They don't mix, in other words. So when something is fat soluble, it's more likely to be breakdownable and usable if you have a source of fat in which it can dissolve. And so that seems to be what we have going on with this. That's my educated guess on it. So what I'm adding here is blue cheese. Just a little bit, but enough to add some serious fat, some tasty serious fat. Then, to that, I am going to add some apricot preserves. And I don't go out of my way to buy apricot preserves, but a local store had closed late last year, and so I have certain things that I would ordinarily not buy in my kitchen that I'm using so that I don't have to move them when or if I need to move out of this apartment. So they were like 50 to 75% off. So I'll just, the way I'll eat this is I'll grab a little chunk of the apricot preserves along with a little chunk of cheese and then a big scoop of the oatmeal, and that's going to be a flavorful mouthful. There's something else that I wanted to mention too. This is not the first time that I've started a small business. This is actually about my third, if I remember all of them, and I might be forgetting something, but I know this is at least my third attempt. My previous attempt, just prior to this, had been, and I want to make sure that this is running. Yes, it is. My previous attempt had been selling books. Remember, I just mentioned in my previous video to this how there's a book by Dr. Stephen Pratt called Superfoods. It's actually Superfoods RX by Dr. Stephen Pratt. And then he came out with a follow-up book to that too. But I was so impressed by that book when I first read it that I contacted the publisher and I bought like 500 copies in various sizes and formats of that book so that I could go door to door and sell that book. primarily because that business failed, and because I ended up doing a bankruptcy. My parents are really, really emphasizing that they will not be doing any loans for me, and so that's part of why this is crucial to me, that I make this work. They've seen me try entrepreneurial endeavors in the past, and it's very reasonable that they should demand that I get full-time work for an employer rather than trying yet another entrepreneurial endeavor. So I really do get where they're coming from with that. But that book, I have many, many copies. If you have any difficulty finding a copy and you want to buy a copy of Dr. Stephen Pratt's Superfoods RX, the reason I bought them was to sell them. So one of the things that I'm going to try to do is come up with a way to offer these books for sale since I still have them. In fact, I'm going to try to grab a copy or two to show what they look like. Nope, they are not accessible to me right now, but I believe I have about a dozen of the Spanish softback full size, and about 2 or 3 dozen of the English soft cover. I should have said soft cover in both cases, full size. And I think those are typically $14 a piece. Then I have maybe 2 dozen of the hardcover, which I think are usually $24 a piece. And then I probably have about 150 copies of the miniature. I think they're actually called pocket size, although they would not fit in this pocket. They would fit in the this type of a pocket, in this size pocket, of the shirts that I bought specifically. All of these shirts, all of these Dickies shirts, which are no longer available in this pocket size, but which I have sought to get more of, they fit very easily in that. And I bought those shirts specifically so that I could keep the book in that pocket. And I had a little sticker that said, a little sticker on my pocket that said, with an arrow pointing up to the book, that the books were for sale. And then when I would deliver pizzas or Chinese food, people could see my little sticker on the pocket and say, hey, yeah, I'd like to buy that book. Well, that never happened. Nobody ever bought my book. Nobody ever bought his book from me. So I think I've sold maybe 4 or 5 copies of the roughly $500 that I invested in that business. Probably closer to $700 that I invested in that business, but it was a fairly low startup cost business. I have all those books. If you want a copy, if you're having any difficulty finding a copy for yourself, I'd be happy to sell you a copy. So I'll have to figure out a way of making that work if you have any interest in it. And those little books, the little pocket sized, I think they usually sell for like $7.50 a piece. And then the first business I started was called, it was actually a form that students could fill out, students or teachers could fill out to help with bullying in schools. It was called the Sweaty Roosters Form for Concerned Students. you might be able to, if you know someone who's really adept at finding archived web pages, you might actually be able to find a copy of the Sweaty Roosters. You might be able to find several versions, several dozen versions of the Sweaty Roosters Forum for Concerned Students somewhere on the internet. Right now I can't focus any attention on that, but there are reasons why, there are legitimate reasons why my parents are not going to be helping to fund the small business for me. So there's a good chance that I'm not going to be living in this apartment much longer, but I'm documenting everything that I'm trying to do that I think ought to be strategically worthwhile to help me stay in this apartment. That's it. If you'd like to buy a book, I'll figure out some way to make that work. Thanks, have a good day. It'll be a while before I make another video like this, probably. Have a good day, bye.